I've kind of planned, my life in the business world once I retired. But when I actually retired, it was a little bit more tricky because I missed the adrenaline and going fast and just that whole world I miss. But business is great. I've really been trying to hustle pretty hard and getting into a lot of new things and venture capital and my own lines, ski lines, ski goggles, and kind of the typical things that you would expect, but a lot of things that you wouldn't. And my memoir's coming out in January. So a lot has been going on since I last saw you.
How has the transition been kind of, I guess, emotionally in that, and how is the skill set that you developed as a world-class athlete translated to your business? I mean, what we talked about in 2017 a lot, you were right at this point where everybody was telling you, listen, you've had an unbelievable career. Why do you have to go and rehab and come back one more time? And what I took out of you, what I so respect about you, is your resilience. How much of that has translated to what you're doing now in the entrepreneurial realm?
It's definitely translated a lot because, I'm kind of entering into a new realm. I've been in it to an extent, but there's still a lot that I need to learn. And so I think, not getting frustrated and continuing to learn, continuing to surround myself with people that are, leaders in the spaces that I'm getting into has been important. And understanding that, I have a long ways to go. And that was so similar to my skiing career, is that, it took my whole life to be able to get to the top. And so I have to give myself a little bit of a break and, just learn as best I can and as fast as I can, but to not get frustrated and keep that resilience that I had in skiing and into this new chapter.
I think what's probably also translatable, but I'd be curious on your take in real time, is, to be a great entrepreneur, you need to be able to be okay with failure. If you're not failing, you're not trying. And you have to have had, you have had so much success, but you've also, of course, had a lot of failure. How is that relationship with success and failure translated to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think, to your point, any successful entrepreneur knows that they have to be willing to risk in order to succeed. And oftentimes you're not going to succeed. So I definitely have taken that to heart. And I haven't succeeded in quite a few things that I've done, but I'd say overwhelmingly I've been successful. I think that's because I've been very thorough, want to make really smart decisions. And again, I understand that I'm not the smartest person in the room. So I try to surround myself with, leaders in the field and every field that, I'm trying to enter into. And so they, help guide me and teach me, and therefore I can make the most educated decisions as possible.
Well, we all know the saying. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So
yes,
that's certainly true, and it's certainly true for me in this Zoom room. What you've done is amazing. Let's talk about that failure. What's one failure you've had recently in the business realm, and what have you learned from it?
I think it was more so decisions that I made during my ski career, different relationships that I tried to foster. I tried to get into some parts of the wellness world, and it wasn't as successful as we had hoped. And there were a lot of big name people around it, but I think we're all hoping for a lot more success. And I think it just showed me that you don't have to have amazing people, like as far as influential people, that doesn't guarantee success. You really have to have a lot of components. It has to be authentic. There has to be all the pieces have to align in order for something like that to really work and take off. And start to your point, starting a business is very difficult, and it's not always going to work. So we were a little bit frustrated with that, but I think I learned a lot from it, and you just have to keep trying. That's all you can do.
Just get back in the starting
get back in the game. Yeah,
that's right, and go take it. You mentioned wellness. I've always admired how open you are. Listen, you've been open about your bouts with depression. It's an area that's coming out of this pandemic and still in this pandemic that gets so much attention. We see even in the sports realm, with Naomi Osaka, being so open about it. How, in the middle of the last 18 months and what we've all gone through, kind of how have you kind of balanced, this idea of staying well and mental wellness with success?
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt with it for a long time, and I've been, pretty vocal about it since probably 2011 or 12. And I'm really happy that this conversation has gained so much attention, thanks to a lot of those athletes that you mentioned and Simone Biles and a lot more. But, I think COVID was a really good time for me to really reflect and to really make sure I was managing my mental health. It was hard when I retired. I need that physical outlet, and I think I didn't have that in skiing, but I found it in the gym. I'm not in the gym anymore to be the best ski racer. I'm in the gym for more of my mental health and how I can find my outlet and find my balance and kind of clear my mind for a few minutes of every day. And I think that was very important for me. So, I think a lot of people that I know, it was difficult, but very reflective as well.
Yeah. And I would expect, you mentioned adrenaline before and the adrenaline rush. I was a ski racer back in high school and, about a 1,000 scale of what you did, but you do feel that. And I'm wondering how, I mean, the gym's not going to give that to you. And even business and entrepreneurship and all the things you're doing in media, you're not going to get that second to second adrenaline rush. So how do you translate what you used to have, which was this incredible, right on the line kind of adrenaline rush with this more long-term excitement that you're dealing with in terms of being a businesswoman?
It's definitely a lot different. There, to your point, there's not a lot of second to second adrenaline. It's definitely a much longer game. But I do feel like starting my own businesses and venture capital. Venture capital has been really fun for me because I think mainly I enjoy the challenge. The challenge is what really excites me, and learning. And obviously, you're taking a bet. You're taking a bet on companies and on people. And I enjoy that part of it, getting to know people and understanding the business. And that challenge is kind of what gives me, it's not the same adrenaline rush, obviously, but it's what really excites me. And so I think, I
it's
found
like
other
being
ways.
a coach. It's like
Yeah,
when professional athletes move from actually competing to being a coach, and that's kind of what you're doing, but with some money on the line. Why don't you tell everybody what you're doing in the venture space?
well, I'm advising two funds right now. And I am also in the works of advising a couple of companies. So I've kind of been on the fundraising march the last few months, which has been really fun and exciting.
Do you put your own money up, or do you?
Yeah, I always put my own money up. I think it's important.
So
You
now
have
you're
to have
feeling the
skin in the game.
adrenaline.
Yes,
Now you got the adrenaline. Otherwise, you're just kind of on the bunny slopes there.
exactly. I mean, I feel like if you're not putting your own money in, it's really not worth it, and you can't really have the same, feeling of investment. So, for me, it's, obviously I'm taking a risk, which is again to the point of the adrenaline, which is great. But it's exciting, again, this is such a new world for me. I've been in business for a long time, obviously with my sponsors and, all of my traditional things, but venture is totally new. So that challenge has been exciting.
So I know, ex-athletes who have gotten involved, but they get some equity in exchange for their fame and they don't put the cash in it. It's not the same, and the passion is not the same. What's the investment you've made that you're most excited about, you've learned the most from?
I mean, there's been a lot. I think Aura has been my best
Well, that's a great,
investment.
that's a great company. So
Yeah, so I got
and
to know
under
Harpreet.
30 under 30, Forbes 30 under 30 founders. So just like yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Harpreet, I think his vision is amazing, and that's why I invested. And I'm also an ambassador, but mainly I'm an investor. And I think it's been really great because I'm helping with marketing and with product development and things like that. So I'm very much involved, which I really like to do, and I think it's very much in my wheelhouse. So it's been a good one. And then Just Eggs and Beyond Meat and Hyper Ice, all
These are
really
good
great
companies.
investments.
These are good
Yeah.
companies. You were on the 30 under 30 list. You've been on our athletes list. You're on, many of our power women lists. We might have you on our billionaires list someday. You keep it up like this. I hope you put a lot of money into these. These are good investments.
I know. Thanks. Well, I want to be just as successful in business as I was in skiing. So that's the goal.
How, and you've done a lot of media stuff. And you hosted during the pandemic. I tuned in once to your show, The Pack, on Amazon Prime. It was kind of like Amazing Race for dogs, right? It was it was cool. How was that? How was that as TV host? What'd you learn from that, and how have you applied that to your business ventures?
It was fun. It was definitely a challenge.
You traveled a lot. It looked like you guys went everywhere.
We traveled around the world, and it was crazy because we were kind of just ahead of COVID the whole time. No one really knew what was going on, but they were closing down borders in Europe, and we were running to get to the next location before they shut us down. So it was interesting, to say the least, but it was a really great experience, and it was really fun. I mean, I think it was great for the time that it was. It was a good way for me to cut a segment going from skiing into kind of this next chapter. And I was able to, be on the road still and be with my dog Lucy and, have fun, but, accept that I wasn't skiing anymore, which again took a little bit of time. And it was just the right thing to do at the right time.
Yeah. Now the dogs had all the competition fun. That's not fair.
Well, now Lucy's too much of a diva, so I've got
she's a star now. How you have a production company, Apparate Productions, which is a great name, by the way, for those who ski. What was that? How was that relationship? How was this experience with the Pack? How's that informed what you're doing going forward with your production company?
It was just a great learning experience from, it's definitely different having a scripted show, but it's also like a live competition show. So there were a lot of different elements to that that I had ever experienced. But, I really got to know the producers well. And, I felt like that will definitely help me going forward. I mean, we've done a couple of documentaries so far in the last couple of years, and one of them is coming out in February with Peekaboo Street. It's a documentary on her, which she was my idol growing up, and I directed and produced that with Frank Marshall, which was incredible.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
I feel like all of these things have kind of taught me something along the way, and I feel like it'll build up to a pretty nice resume that will hopefully lead to bigger and better things going forward.
You're clearly on your way. Your memoir is coming out. Listen, I could talk to you for an hour, and it would be awesome. We have a lot of great speakers coming up. So, last exit question: we have your memoir coming up. One, we'll do it's like a movie trailer. One great little juicy tidbit that is in your memoir that kind of gets us excited and makes us want to more pick it up. What do you got?
It's more about, honestly, like resilience and overcoming adversity, and it's more of an inspirational book. It's not a gossip book, so I'll say that right now.
How about an inspirationally juicy piece?
Yes, it's definitely that. It's definitely that. So I hope you guys like it.